If you're renting out your house, it's perfectly reasonable to want good tenants. But this landlord has one rule that's not negotiable.
It's a spacious home for rent in an affordable suburb, close to the beach and amenities. Everything a prospective tenant in the crowded rental market would want.
But there's a snag. If you're a fan of a good old-fashioned Australian barbecue with plenty of sausages, some white bread and some tomato sauce, then you may be out of luck, I'm afraid. You see, there's some pretty strict conditions linked to this family rental, and meat eaters need not apply. In fact, the only people who can live in this house are vegans.
It's hard enough to find a rental just for my small family, so dealing with this is just ridiculous, honestly.
Everybody should be allowed to live wherever they want.
No, you're not mistaken. This real estate ad is fair dinkum. 4-bedroom house for rent to a vegan family. The post on Gumtree reads, "House is only for vegan family and no other food or beverages allowed in the house."
Definitely discrimination.
Discrimination?
Discrimination.
Can you discriminate like that?
Well, one Melbourne landlord certainly thinks so. The owner of this home in Frankston in the city's southeast.
And why should I be discriminated against just because I like pork roast?
It's a slap in the face for struggling new mum Janice Jamison Luke. The 25-year-old and her family are being forced to leave their rental property because the owner wants to sell, and they're finding it really tough to secure a new place.
It's just stressful at the moment. If you have a kid or if you have more than 2 kids, you're competing with families constantly.
Janice would love to be considered for a home like this and is furious her family's application wouldn't even be accepted.
Anyone in this country should be allowed to apply for a rental, depending on if it's a private rental or a real estate, doesn't matter, you should be able to.
It's also got locals in a flap.
You're a fan of your meat, by the sound.
I love meat. And if he didn't want me to rent it, I would just say to him, well, you shove it where the sun don't shine. There's a good butcher just up the road. Sells beautiful meat.
There is a house around here for rent, but there's a condition. You can only live in the house and rent it if you're a family of vegans. They're banning everyone else. What do you think?
Oh, well, that would put me out of work. So, no, I'm not agreeing with that whatsoever.
Many reckon life would be boring without a tasty Scotch fillet or a gourmet snag. But what options are on offer for vegans? Maybe life with no real meat isn't that different.
Look, so options are a little limited. Picked up these chicken flavoured soy nuggets. You can always go for the vegan-aise, better than mayo, apparently. My personal favourite though, who needs a big meaty cheeseburger when you can have these soy burger patties? Yum.
Vegans have been in the headlines lately, most recently for choking Melbourne's CBD as part of guerrilla protests.
Veganism is a philosophy which underpins everything in a person's life.
Claire Mann is a vegan psychologist.
The landlord is trying to be a good vegan. They're saying if I allow people in an area that I have control over to come into my home and give me earnings from that, if it comes from the suffering of animals, I don't want any part in it.
So, can this vegan-only rental ad actually be considered discrimination? Well, like a well-done steak, it's a tough one. According to our research, it could technically be illegal under anti-discrimination legislation on the basis it discriminates against prospective tenants due to their political beliefs.
When one becomes a vegan, it's not only what they put into their mouth, the biggest political statement they can make about how they want the world to be. It's also the pharmaceuticals that they buy, which are tested on animals, the clothes they buy.
It'd be tough if you were going through the list and you thought, oh great, 3 bedrooms, tick off, terrific, 2 carports, or it's right near the school that we want, and then you get right to the bottom and says that you can't have rissoles anymore. It would be a sad old day.
Justin Smith is a 3AW commentator.
I've got every respect for people that want to be vegans. If you want to be a vegan, that is fine, but it's become like a new religion, and sadly, like other religions too, they're not just happy that they're vegans, they want the rest of the world to be vegans as well, and they're never happier than when they're just shoving it down your throat.
Pigeon, do you want some of this vegan cheese? thought they ate anything.
Crazy world we live in these days.
Let's not forget, the home does belong to the vegans. We contacted the owner of that property, but he declined to be interviewed. We are running a Facebook poll to see if you think landlords should be able to knock back tenants based on their diet choices. 13% of you agree and 87% don't.